Hello and welcome back to our channel for another deep dive into the thrilling, unpredictable world of Genoa City. Today is a beautiful day to unpack some truly explosive predictions that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's get right into the heart of the action. In the sprawling, opulent estates of Genoa City, behind the closed doors of the Chancellor Mansion, a suffocating atmosphere of despair has taken root. Abby Winters finds herself trapped in an agonizing emotional purgatory, watching helplessly as the man she loves, Devon Winters, slips further into an abyss of anger and isolation. Following the harrowing events surrounding Mariah Copeland's return and Devon's obsessive, furious crusade to overturn her plea deal, the once unbreakable bond between Abby and Devon has begun to fracture. Devon has erected an impenetrable fortress of ice around his heart, shutting Abby out completely and refusing any form of psychological or emotional assistance. For Abby, the pain of being alienated by her own husband is becoming unbearable. She is a woman who has fought fiercely for her family, surviving the unimaginable trauma of her son Dominic's kidnapping, only to realize that the current, toxic environment is slowly poisoning their home. The chilling reality is setting in. She is facing an incredibly difficult choice. Does she continue to endure Devon's agonizing emotional withdrawal, hoping against hope for a miraculous breakthrough, or does she take the devastating step of initiating a trial separation? The thought of leaving is terrifying, but her maternal instinct screams that Dominic must be protected from the volatile, depressing energy radiating from his father. The psychological toll on Abby is immense, pushing her to the very brink of her endurance. Every attempt she makes to bridge the widening chasm between her and Devon is met with cold indifference or explosive resentment. Devon is consumed by a dark, relentless depression, feeling utterly betrayed by the justice system and, paradoxically, by Abby's pragmatic approach to Mariah's psychiatric treatment. Abby's heart breaks daily as she witnesses Devon's downward spiral, but her empathy is slowly being overshadowed by a profound, hollow loneliness. She is navigating the terrifying precipice of a broken marriage, weighing the catastrophic consequences of a separation against the slow, suffocating death of her relationship. In this agonizing vacuum of affection and understanding, Abby desperately seeks a lifeline, a beacon of normalcy, in a world that has suddenly become overwhelmingly dark. She craves validation, a listening ear, and the simple comfort of feeling seen and heard by someone who does not look at her with resentment. Enter Daniel Romalotti Jr. To the outside world, and especially to a vulnerable Abby, Daniel appears to be the perfect, quintessential friend, a seemingly trustworthy figure, offering a comforting shoulder to lean on during her darkest hours. Daniel has positioned himself as a beacon of calm, a stark contrast to the turbulent, unpredictable storm that Devon has become. He listens with rapt attention, his eyes filled with sympathetic warmth, offering gentle advice and unwavering support. Abby, starved for emotional connection, begins to rely heavily on Daniel's presence, completely unaware of the sinister reality lurking beneath his compassionate facade. She views their meetings at society as innocent reprieves, moments where she can finally exhale and unburden her shattered heart. However, in the treacherous landscape of Genoa City, appearances are meticulously crafted illusions, and a secret conspiracy is unfolding in the shadows, threatening to obliterate everything Abby holds dear. The shocking truth is that Daniel Romalotti Jr. is not the benevolent confidant he pretends to be. He is the mastermind of a ruthless, calculated, psychological takeover. Driven by deeply buried resentments and a dark, opportunistic agenda to destabilize the Winters Chancellor Empire for his own eventual gain, Daniel has been actively orchestrating the demise of Abby and Devon's marriage. This is a secret conspiracy executed with terrifying precision. Daniel recognized the hairline fractures in their relationship long before Abby did, and he has been systematically driving wedges into those cracks, exploiting Devon's fragile mental state and Abby's desperate need for comfort. He is the invisible puppeteer pulling the strings in the dark, engineering scenarios that push Devon further into isolation, while simultaneously drawing Abby into his carefully constructed web of deceit. The mastermind has cloaked his malice in empathy, making him the most dangerous kind of predator. If one were to look closely, the suspicious signs of Daniel's dark conspiracy are everywhere, subtle yet undeniably sinister. There is an uncanny, almost supernatural precision to Daniel's intervention. He always seems to know exactly when Devon and Abby have had a catastrophic fight, appearing with a perfectly timed text message or a serendipitous encounter at the coffee house. Furthermore, Daniel has been subtly gaslighting Abby, planting insidious seeds of doubt about Devon's mental stability. He uses phrases that sound supportive, but are actually designed to validate Abby's worst fears, suggesting that Devon's anger is dangerous, or that Abby deserves a man who does not shut her out. Unbeknownst to Abby, Daniel's phone is filled with encrypted messages and meticulously tracked schedules of Devon's whereabouts. He has been studying their routines, waiting for the perfect moment to execute the final, fatal blow to their marriage. The depths of this secret investigation and shadow operation are chilling. Daniel has been subtly manipulating third parties, ensuring that Devon is fed a steady diet of paranoia. Through anonymous tips and strategically placed whispers among the Genoa City elite, Daniel has ensured that Devon feels entirely surrounded by enemies, compounding his depression and anger. Daniel's ultimate goal is to force a devastating confrontation, an explosive event that will sever the marital bond permanently, leaving Abby completely dependent on him. He knows that Devon is a proud, fiercely protective man, and that hitting him in his most vulnerable spot, his pride and his marriage, will trigger a catastrophic reaction. The mastermind has set the stage, and the actors are moving exactly as he directed, completely blind to the trap closing around them. The climax of this dark conspiracy is set into motion on a seemingly ordinary evening at society. Abby, feeling utterly defeated after another harrowing, silent evening with Devon, reaches out to Daniel in a moment of pure desperation. Daniel, seizing the opportunity he has been meticulously planning for, suggests they meet at society. He deliberately chooses a table that is highly visible, yet intimately lit, a stage perfectly set for his theatrical betrayal. But Daniel's machinations do not stop there. Through a complex web of deceit, utilizing a burner phone and a disguised voice, Daniel sends a cryptic, urgent message to Devon, ensuring that Devon is summoned to society under the guise of an emergency meeting regarding the Chancellor Winter's corporate structure. The trap is flawlessly laid, the timing is calculated down to the very second. As Abby sits across from Daniel, the weight of her crumbling marriage finally breaks her resolve. Tears stream down her face as she pours her heart out, confessing her deepest fears about separating from Devon and the agonizing pain of her loneliness. This is the moment the mastermind has been waiting for. Daniel leans in, his expression a masterclass in fabricated empathy. His voice drips with soothing, honeyed lies as he validates her pain. Then, he executes the physical component of his trap. He reaches across the table, his hand covering hers in a gesture that transcends platonic comfort. He leans his face close to hers, creating a visual tableau of undeniable, scandalous. To anyone watching, it is not a friend comforting a friend. It is a profound, romantic connection, a secret lover offering solace in the shadows. At that exact fateful moment, Devon Winters walks through the grand doors of society. He is already on edge, his mind racing with corporate anxieties and the heavy, suffocating cloud of his depression. As his eyes scan the room, they lock onto the intimately lit corner table. The visual impact is immediate and devastating. He sees his wife, the woman he loves but has tragically pushed away, sitting in what appears to be a deeply romantic, intimate embrace with Daniel Romolotti Jr. The psychological shatter is deafening. Every paranoid fear, every dark insecurity that has plagued Devon's mind is instantly validated in this horrifying tableau. He witnesses the tender touch, the leaning in, the shared tears, and his reality violently fractured. The conspiracy has successfully manifested his worst nightmare into reality. The volcanic eruption of Devon's pent-up anger, grief, and depression is spectacular and terrifying. The confrontation that ensues is the stuff of Genoa City legend. Devon marches across the restaurant, his eyes blazing with unadulterated fury. He does not ask for an explanation. His mind, already poisoned by isolation and Daniel's unseen manipulations, jumps straight to the ultimate betrayal. He unleashes a torrential downpour of accusations, his voice echoing through society, humiliating Abby and aggressively confronting Daniel. In this chaotic storm, Daniel plays his role to absolute perfection. He acts the part of the innocent, protective friend, raising his hands in surrender, speaking in calm, measured tones that only serve to make Devon look completely unhinged and irrationally jealous. The mastermind uses Devon's own righteous anger as a weapon to destroy him. Abby is left in a state of profound shock and horror. She desperately tries to explain, her voice trembling as she insists it was merely a moment of comfort, but her words fall on deaf ears. Devon is entirely consumed by the blinding red haze of betrayal. He feels that his entire world is a lie, that while he was drowning in his own mental anguish, his wife was seeking comfort in the arms of another man. The trust, the foundational pillar of their marriage, is instantly pulverized. Abby, in turn, feels a devastating betrayal of a different kind. She is shattered that Devon would so easily believe the worst of her, that he would publicly humiliate her without a second thought. The chasm between them, once a crack, has now been blown wide open into an impassable canyon. The immediate aftermath of the confrontation pushes Devon further into the dark, suffocating depths of his depression. He retreats to his office, locking the door, surrounded by the ghosts of his perceived failures. The mastermind, Daniel, has won this crucial battle. He has successfully alienated Devon, making him appear unstable and dangerous, while simultaneously cementing his position as Abby's only sane, reliable protector. Abby, believing that Devon is truly lost to his anger and paranoia, begins to seriously contemplate packing her bags and taking Dominic. She is completely unaware that every tear she sheds, every step she takes away from Devon, is a step deeper into Daniel's meticulously crafted web of control. The tragedy is absolute, built on a foundation of brilliant, invisible lies. However, the serious consequences of this conspiracy are only just beginning to unfold, and the mastermind may have underestimated his prey. Devon, though deeply depressed and emotionally compromised, possesses a brilliant, analytical mind. As the initial shock wears off, a tiny, persistent spark of suspicion ignites in the darkness of his thoughts. He begins to replay the events of that night. The timing was too perfect. The anonymous tip that brought him to society was too convenient. Devon realizes that he has been played. Driven by a newfound cold determination, Devon launches a secret investigation of his own. He quietly hires a top-tier private investigator to dig into Daniel Romalotti Jr.'s recent activities, his encrypted communications, and his hidden financial motive. The hunter is about to become the hunted. The looming consequences of this secret investigation are catastrophic. If Devon uncovers the truth that Daniel orchestrated the destruction of his marriage and manipulated Abby's vulnerability, the fallout will be apocalyptic. Devon's wrath, once unleashed with righteous justification, will be unstoppable. It could lead to extreme, physical violence between the two men, threatening to drag the entire Chancellor Winter's empire into a massive, scandalous legal battle. Furthermore, if Abby discovers that the man she trusted as her savior is actually the architect of her misery, her psychological devastation will be absolute. The ensuing battle will not just be for a marriage, but for the safety and custody of Dominic, as the toxic fallout threatens to consume the innocent child caught in the crossfire. The stakes in Genoa City have never been higher. A secret conspiracy, born in the shadows and executed by a seemingly trustworthy friend, has brought a powerful family to its knees. Daniel Romalotti Jr.'s dark masterpiece of manipulation has successfully shattered Devon and Abby's world, but the game is far from over. As Devon's secret investigation quietly gathers momentum, a ticking time bomb has been planted beneath Daniel's feet. The betrayals run deep, the emotional wounds are fatal, and the impending revelation of the truth promises to unleash a firestorm of consequences that will forever alter the landscape of the Winters and Abbott family. The mastermind may have won the battle, but the war for survival, sanity, and ultimate justice has only just begun.